you know that I love using symbols to preach my homilies. Why do I do that? You know, symbols in the Bible tell us the deep things about God. They tell us about spiritual things. And I think in this gospel today, we have another symbol. And that symbol is the charcoal fire. But before I go on to tell you the meaning of this charcoal fire, let me give you a background. You know, on Holy Thursday, after Jesus was arrested, Peter was not happy. Peter was ashamed, and he walked out. Peter found himself in a courtyard, and in this courtyard, there was a charcoal fire. Peter was cold, and he found himself sitting by this charcoal fire. And coming to the gospel reading again today, is like Peter still remembers that charcoal fire on Holy Thursday. The disciples have gone back to their normal business. They have gone to their old ways. And Jesus appeared from nowhere and said to them, "Please come, let us have breakfast." And they left the shore and went, and behold, they saw another charcoal fire. And I think when Peter saw this charcoal fire, what came to his mind was the incident of that Holy Thursday, the charcoal fire of shame. That charcoal fire of the Holy Thursday was the charcoal fire of shame. But the charcoal fire on the shore of the Sea of Tiberias is the charcoal fire of redemption. And that is why Jesus said to them, "Come, bring what you have caught. Let us have breakfast." But the question is, why did Jesus prepare this charcoal fire? Maybe to remind Peter what happened on that Holy Thursday. But Jesus did not condemn Peter. He did not condemn him. Instead, he said to him, "Peter, son of John, do you love me?" And Peter said, "Yes." One denier restored. And he said to him again, "Peter, son of John, do you love me more than these?" And Peter said, "Yes." Second denier restored. And the third time, Jesus said to him again, "Peter, son of John, do you love me?" The third denier restored. And Peter said, "You know I love you." And Jesus looked at him and said to him, "Feed my sheep." What do we learn from these symbols? What do we learn from the symbol of this charcoal fire? From the Holy Thursday, that, as I said, that was a charcoal fire of shame. But Jesus has come to show them the charcoal fire of redemption. When you look at yourself right now, do you see any charcoal fire of shame around you? There is this thing you remember. Anytime you remember this, you feel like Peter. What do you remember now? Which charcoal fire, or what charcoal fire do you remember? Maybe you have been dating this guy or this lady for many years, and you have been waiting for him or her to say to you, "Do you want to marry me?" You did not get that message. And right now, you are ashamed. There is what is called androphobia. Androphobia is fear of men. And there is another word called gynophobia, the fear of women. Maybe that is what many of us suffer. Why do we suffer from androphobia? Maybe anytime you remember what this guy did to you, how this guy broke your heart, you become androphobia or gynophobia. This is what Peter remembered when he saw that charcoal fire. But in the midst of that charcoal fire, Jesus welcomed him. And I love what Jesus told the disciples. You know, on this shore of the Sea of Tiberias, there was Thomas, the one that doubted that Jesus has resurrected from the dead. And also Nathanael, the one that questioned and said, "Can anything good come out from Nazareth?" He was in that place. But Jesus said to them, "Bring what you have caught. Let us have breakfast." And I think that is what Jesus is telling every one of us here. No matter what you are suffering from, no matter how big that your sin is, Jesus is telling you this morning, bring what you have caught. Come as you are. Jesus is not saying, forget about your sin. We're still going to remember maybe what we have done when we were growing up. Jesus is not saying we're not going to remember them, but Jesus is saying, bring them. I want to have breakfast with you. And Jesus is not saying, go buy tickets to travel to the Sea of Galilee so that I can have breakfast with you. Right here on this altar, Jesus is saying, I have prepared, I have made the charcoal fire. Bring all your problems and we can have breakfast. The question is, what charcoal fire do you remember now? What charcoal fire? This thing that when you remember it, you feel ashamed. Are you ashamed of what you have done in the past? Jesus is still talking to you right now. He's saying, bring what you have got so we can have breakfast.